So welcome to this third season of Season Day Scholar. And today we have got none other than the editor-in-chief of ES&T Letters, Professor Bryan Brooks. As you know that in the introduction, we keep the secret of the achievements and everything. So you can find in the description as well as at the end of the video. So welcome, Bryan. It is a great pleasure and honor to have you on this program.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I look forward to our conversation this evening, or this morning, rather.
When you meet new people, what are the things you take into the stride, or you think that you use? Because a lot of new people you are meeting throughout your as a profession, and what is your views on networking? Do you think collaborations and networking is important? And if important, how to keep it? I know that one time you told today is that we need to finish our commitments with the network. What we have made, and so you like the people, or you do not collaborate with people of certain trait and like that. So your comments, please, on that, how to make people fall in love with you if you meet for new people, and how to keep networking alive.
Yeah, so I think there's a couple things here, right? In terms of the collaboration, how does collaboration start, right? I mean, there's even guidance that you can look at. Oftentimes, collaborations, it's shared interests, right? Complementary expertise, right? So maybe there's some things that I can do that you can't do. There's things that you can do that I can't do, or maybe we could do the same things, but you're actually better at this, and I'm actually better at that, and so those kinds of conversations about common interests, oftentimes, whether it's at an individual institute or university, or with the colleagues that are meeting at a meeting for the first time, right? I think that's the key, right? Is that how do you actually identify if this collaboration makes sense? And so for me, I've been someone who has collaborated quite a bit. Obviously, there's a lot of work that's coming out of our lab, but we routinely, obviously, we were stalled by the global COVID pandemic. But even this last summer, there were 2 PhD students working with us that were actually in the Czech Republic, spending time with some of our collaborators that I was spending time there as well in collaborative activities, and that's a collaboration that's been going on for some time. And but how did that happen? Well, we had read each other's papers, but we actually met each other at a meeting in Vietnam. And so we started talking, and so we were both familiar with each other's work, and we started talking about our common interests. And then there's things that they can do that we don't do, and vice versa. And before you know it, then we've got an idea that maybe we can work on together. And so that's oftentimes what my experience has been, is that I'm not really looking for something in particular. I'm not really looking per se, but the collaboration, oftentimes it's a shared area of interest, and then it's complementary expertise. And what we found is through our international engagements is it's always very beneficial for the students. Students come and visit us. Our students go elsewhere, right? There's reciprocal benefits that are gained, and not just from information exchange, or hey, we use this technique, you use that technique, or I come from this intellectual tradition and expertise, you come from that intellectual tradition and expertise, but even culturally, right? I mean, it's fantastic. Sometimes, we have the Fulbright program in the United States in partnership with many other countries, and sometimes they joke at my university that we're the Fulbright lab because, we will host, well, not just Fulbright scholars, but students or postdocs from other places, and then our students will go elsewhere. And we have to do that, in my estimation, right? Because we have major challenges that we face around the world. These are complex with multiple facets. And when people from different backgrounds, different areas of expertise, different cultural perspectives look at the same problem, oftentimes we see that problem slightly differently. And I think that is
Yes, yes.
that's the true opportunity of leveraging human capital, right? The brains, the people who are really trying to work to understand and solve problems is when we work together across boundaries and borders and barriers.
Yeah, I mean, again, I people will think I am praising you too much on my this one, but I mean, really, the thing that you have added, I was also knowing it, but I never thought of this. That is what that different the people from different regions, upbringing and training see the things differently. So a person, a scientist from the States will always have the different orientation or for the solving it, for understanding it of a problem than the people of India and people of, I mean, the other places. And that is one thing to appreciate, and that can help there. But collaboration also starts with like a relationship. It's very warm at the beginning. Then we came to know little bit flip side of each other or complete package, because first of all, we see each other's the only positive sides and good sides. But later on, we see that one. And then even that phase passes. Then we do some great work, and then together, and then we expect. But maybe we found new network and new raising problem, and we never get back to our old collaborator. So this journey, how to keep them alive for decades. That's the
It's interesting, right? And I think I think look, if you are having successful collaborations, I think what does success look like? I think it's honoring commitments, it's finishing what you start, it's I mean, at least, and obviously science is not always predictable. Sometimes we start down a path and we learn that, hey, this isn't going to work the way we thought it would, or we have another idea and we go in a different direction. That's healthy, I think, and collaborators are doing that all the time, right? And so maybe there are people that I work with 15 or 18 years ago that I'm not working with now. It's not because we're not still colleagues or friends, and we tend to see each other at a conference and have a drink and catch up a little bit. But there are a number of people you'll see from my resume that I've worked with for well over a decade. Okay, and so these are long-term collaborators, and we've interacted in different ways for different reasons. And so generally that's simply because the shared sort of research interests and sort of again driven by curiosity is taking us as two
Mm,
collaborators in a
mm,
similar direction. Okay. But again, I think if the collaboration goes in different directions, right, that's healthy too, because the interest, okay, it's taking me over here, but sometimes maybe if like you and I are working together, and if I have an interest in something, you'd say, hey, I know somebody, they can do this, and that would be a good partner with what you're doing, or vice versa. Then there could be the opportunity to learn from each other and develop a new collaborative activity with new people. And so no, I think for me, it's all about curiosity. It's all about shared interests, and generally the collaborations when they are reciprocally beneficial and the expertise are complementary, tend to be the most productive. We know that if people are publishing with others from other disciplines, from other countries, the papers tend to be more impactful in terms of readership and impact, right? And as a scholarly publishing community, we've known that for many years, right?
yeah.
Uh,
I mean, you have answered well. Only thing is, I would also like to vouch is that it's not the end that if we are not handling a active project right now, but um, how my interest changes with time, that has a lot of impact on my networking, and for your networking also. Like you got interested in perchlorate. Let's suppose we both were interested in toxicology or a speciation of metal. I remain interested in that and want to go deeper and deeper in there, but you got some another contaminant of choice, which I have no work at all. So such kind of things has to go, will change. And only thing is that a good networking is always two people. So if another person has unduly the expectation, networking is going to go in flux. It is always about that how we respond to a call, how I can take your email seriously or urgently. This thing, if not changes, opportunity will again come back. So I would say that my experience, and just because you have provoked me, I never put it in the word that yeah, we need to have a successful network is the responsibility of two, and we should only feel about the joy of working together rather than make it give and take, and like what I got in last 3 years, what he has not, and also jealousy. We have to also maintain the jealousy intact, because many times somebody grows very faster and we do not, and then we do that.
Yeah, I think as you move along in your career, you're more comfortable with where you are, and you've had some accomplishments, and so I think you know um, I really don't have much jealousy these days for anyone.
Mhm.
I actually hope that my colleagues,
No, no, no,
are
not
doing
you,
well.
but people might have jealousy with you.
Yeah. Well, sure, and I think that, but back to the networking, I think it's important, especially for students, if they can go to some of these conferences, right, and but not go as a passive learner, go as an active learner. You're presenting your research findings. This oftentimes is activating the student um, to really, I think engage at a more serious level than if you were to just go to a scientific conference and maybe not have as much direction, right? Because at least you're going into those sessions associated with topics that you're working on. And then the networking opportunities oftentimes at different scientific society meetings can be really good. A lot of scientific societies do a great job with early career, even mentoring. I think about some of the activities that Environmental Chemistry Division at the American Chemical Society put on. I think about Society of Environmental Toxicology and Chemistry has a very famous student mentor dinner, right? That is on the first night of the full day meeting, and some of the best people in the world are serving as mentors with hundreds of graduate students. And so I remember one time I was sitting across the table as a PhD student, and there was this incredibly famous person, and I'd read a number of their papers, and I probably thought that they were just the most incredible scientists. I never met them, and then when I met them in person, they were also a very good human being, and very giving of their time. And so I think that's also part of the networking. And then
Mm.
realizing as you start your career and you're moving forward, engaging other people within and around the discipline that you're working, especially in the environmental space, which is so interdisciplinary. These are going to become your peers oftentimes for the rest of your career, right? And so, cultivating the community of scholars, oftentimes falls to the scientific societies, and I think again, it's much like the peer reviewing. What you put into it generally is what you give, you will then receive, so to speak. Is the you know so you have to put in the effort. You kind of have to put yourself out there sometimes, but generally, I think, especially in the environmental science and technology and health communities, there's so many really committed scholars that are really wonderful people, and the big names will take time to chat with you.
Yeah, I mean, very much important. I forgot about the importance of conference, but conference can make if I talk, I am just thankful to the ACS of Delhi who gave me opportunity to meet you. And otherwise, if we would have not met personally, probably I would have not conducting this the podcast.